Hi, this is Anna Bevan-Gravely with NCFREE, and I'm joined by Jason Cain, who is running for House District 51. Jason, thanks so much for joining us. Before we get started, is there anything you'd like to share?
I mean, just that I'm a veteran. I came here for the military, spent 10 years stationed at Fort Bragg, North Carolina, and now teach political science in our community college system. And I'm running to bring new energy, integrity, and honest leadership to the people of Sanford and the Sand Hills, and very happy to be here.
Awesome, awesome. Thanks so much. We'll just dive into the questions. Have you ever owned a business or been in a management position or in a management position within a business?
Yeah, well, actually, my first job was working at a Pizza Hut back in high school, and I was promoted up to be the youngest manager in the state of Georgia. I was an assistant manager, so I was in charge in opening and shutting the store, made deposits, submitted food and materials requests, and managed, a 5 to 6 person staff when I was 17, 18 years old. So that was my last time and I had a handful of other cooking jobs in college and the like, but since then I joined the Army, spent 10 years, had multiple leadership roles within the Army and special operations, and have since had increasing roles of leadership in both the nonprofit and the government sector. So I have to hearken all the way back to high school, the last time that I was a manager in the private sector, but have since been a manager in the public sector.
Yeah, I'm sure you learned a ton in that job, and it really helped to set you up moving forward. I feel like our experiences when we're younger really do stay with us longer, I think.
Absolutely, yeah.
For sure.
Learning those early, mentoring and management techniques, having to, manage people that were obviously much older than me, and having to earn their respect, and of course, having to deal with money and the logistics and ordering was a great setup for a future career in logistics, which is what I did in the Army, and yeah, that's I think that my time in logistics as well taught me an immense amount about how to move goods throughout the world, and how the various ways that we do that. And I think a lot of that I've found incredibly useful in my conversations with folks in the business world as well.
Yeah, that particular skill set is invaluable right now.
Right.
And where we're seeing Amazon boom and grow and expand in this time of COVID-19, really seeing a lot of our stuff delivered and having to figure out how to do that. So
yeah, depending on veterans, they're just quadrupling their veteran hiring, and specifically looking for NCOs from the Army to help lead their efforts. So yeah, that's a great example.
Would you say that our level of federal and state taxation is too high, too low, or just about right?
Yeah. Well, North Carolina has the lowest corporate tax rate in the country, but at the same time, we have some of the lowest paid grade school and community college teachers, the worst unemployment insurance system, and some of the worst healthcare coverage rates in the country. So I believe that we should strive to have low tax rates and encourage business growth and attract new companies and industries in North Carolina. But I think we've had a race to the bottom when it comes to corporate tax rates, and I think that's short-sighted. What companies come to North Carolina for is our workforce and our schools. And we're not going to be able to maintain those magnets if we don't properly fund our school systems, our healthcare system, and our workforce development sources. So I think we need to aim for having a lower tax rate, something around 5%. But I don't think that we should be proud of having the lowest corporate tax rates when we're not going to be able to maintain that, and because we're not supporting the things that make business possible in North Carolina.
Yeah. Do you feel it's appropriate for state or local governments to offer incentives to private businesses in consideration of locating, expanding, and conducting business in a specific part of the state?
Yeah. I mean, absolutely. I think it's part of the game that we have to play now, and it's part of our free enterprise system. In communities that want to attract new jobs and employers, they must use all the tools that they have in their toolbox to bring them to their local areas. Here in Lee County, we have the Sanford Area Growth Alliance that works very closely with the Chamber of Commerce, and they've spent money up front both it's a public-private partnership and spent money up front to construct shell buildings that actually, quickly attracted new companies to come in and fill those buildings. Things like phased tax reductions and other incentives to attract companies to our area. Oftentimes, the building was, paid for itself almost immediately when the company moved in, but most of them pay for themselves in just a few years and are bringing high-paying jobs and corporate partners to our area. So yeah, I think incentives are again part of the game that we have to pay if we want to compete, and then we have to play that game.
Yeah. What would you say the key principles of free enterprise are?
Yeah, that's obviously like profit motivation, competition, access to markets and capital, and of course individual rights and liberties and opportunity. Yeah.
Awesome. And so in your opinion, what is the appropriate balance in the scope of federal and state regulatory requirements on business? And what, in your opinion, is the best way to balance those appropriate protections without impugning economic vitality?
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, what we have to do is find the right balance between rights and opportunities for our workers, while also creating competitive business environment for our companies and the employers that depend on those workers. So I think that starts with training and education, making sure that we have the right workforce in place to be able to attract companies to our area, but it also means incentives and keeping corporate taxes relatively low, because that is a competitive environment amongst the states, and we need to, and that goes for regulations as well. We need to. There are obviously regulations that have to be in place for safety and having a level playing field, but we are competing with other states, so there has to be there's a federal overarching rules that we all operate under, and then we have to keep our rules and regulations competitive with other states so that we can continue to attract business to our area.
Awesome. And this is my favorite question. I think because it has to do with a little more like action and less theoretical.
Yeah.
But Jason, if you're elected in the fall, what are your top 3 priorities when it comes to the business community?
Yeah, and I think it really goes back to education, because again, what companies come here for is our workforce, and we're not going to be able to continue. I mean, they come for our workforce and our education system, and usually that's meaning our community college and university systems. But we're not going to be able to continue to feed those community college and university systems if we don't improve our secondary, primary and secondary education. It's been decimated since the financial crisis in 2008, and we haven't caught back up to speed, and that's going to catch up with us. So I think that's what companies are looking for us to actually improve our education system, and then also I think our community college system is going to be the number 2 priority. I happen to be partial to it because I teach in our community college system, but I think that's where we're training our future workforces, and we can better utilize our community college systems to provide specific training and job ready workforce for folks in our area. And then lastly, I'd say, again, I think our corporate tax rate is too low right now, again, because I think there's been a race to the bottom, but I think keeping it around 5%, keeping it competitive, keeping on the lower half of states, even the lowest quarter, so that we can continue to be a business-friendly environment here in North Carolina. Yeah,
awesome. Thank you so much for your time. I really enjoyed this conversation. Where can our members go to learn more about you?
Yeah, our website is cain4nc.com. So it's Cain, CAINFORNC.com. And of course, you can find us on Facebook and Instagram and Twitter, all the same, cain4nc.com. And I hope you'll check us out. And I look forward to tackling these issues come November.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. Have a great rest of the day and good luck on the campaign trail.
I appreciate it. Thanks so much.
Bye.